Can anyone hear me? I'm turning my mic back up. Don't know if anybody is here to hear me, but if you are, can you give me an emoji or something? Oh, excellent. Hello, AK0613 Bangtan. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me, and thank you for being here. This is kind of my test stream. Yay! Thumbs up and a heart. I've literally never done streaming before. Obviously, as you guys can probably tell from my video quality, I'm still pretty new to doing videos. I've had the channel for like 2 years, but I've only done 10 videos. Not the best output, but I really wanted to kind of start getting into being able to do some streams. I have a couple of upcoming streams planned that I wanted to do, so I wanted to do a little test with some of you all first to just see how this all works out. So it's a new experience for all of us. And let me know if I'm too loud or too quiet. I'm trying to use the microphone that I use to do videos, but it's very different when you do it to stream. It's, I don't have the ability to edit my audio and hear the sound and edit everything. So let me know if I'm too loud or too quiet. Okay, good. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be doing this. I like I said, I have a couple of things planned coming up. I'm really excited to do them. I don't know how frequent it'll be, just because, as you can tell from my video output, it's a little bit. My schedule doesn't allow the most continual videos or the best continual update schedule, so it might be a little bit of a wait in between live streams, but I would love to be able to do this more with everybody. I know I started a little bit earlier than my time that I had set up, so I'll give everybody a few minutes if more people end up finding their way here. If not, we'll be a small group here in the ARMY Theorist Corner today. How's everybody's Sunday going so far? And where are you watching from today? Hi from India, says Sitha. Thank you for watching. That is so awesome. Las Vegas. Oh, very nice. So you were right in the middle of the BTS universe there during the Vegas concerts. That's really exciting. I'm from Florida. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that in a video or a response to anybody, but so I am here in Florida, Central Florida. Did you end up going? Did you end up getting tickets for any of those concerts in Vegas, AK? thank you, Sitha. They're saying, I really like your videos. They're highly informative. Thank you so much. You got to go to 2 shows, Kate? That is awesome. I got the chance to go to the first concert that they did in Los Angeles. So the first of the PTD concerts when they came back. And that was my first concert because I became ARMY during the Map of the Soul era. So I didn't get to see any. I was going to go to the Map of the Soul tour, obviously, because it was in Orlando, literally like half an hour away from where I live. Got tickets and, of course, obviously couldn't go. Yes, so I definitely, responding to Sidha's statement, I definitely want to dive a little bit more into the HYYH era, especially since I don't know what we're going to be getting, but we have been promised a project of some sorts for the 10th anniversary of HYYH, so I might actually even do another live stream. Right now I have 2 live streams that I definitely want to do. One is going to be on the anniversary, the 5th anniversary of Map of the Soul 7 coming out, because like I said, I'm a Map of the Soul, era girl, and I definitely wanted to do a video about that. I still will, but I know I don't have enough time to do a full video about Map of the Soul 7 before its anniversary, so I'll probably do a live broadcast and kind of chat live about it and talk about the songs and the music videos and just how much that era means to me and everything like that. And then I'd love to do a similar one where I break down the HYYH albums on its anniversary or around its anniversary, since I'm not sure what my schedule will look like then, but I would love to kind of dive into HYYH live with all of you. I think that'd be really fun. AK, yeah, I know what you mean with LA too, when they were like, oh, we're coming to LA. It was such a huge surprise. Because they had just canceled the Map of the Soul tour was kind of in limbo for so long, and then they finally announced that they were just going to cancel it. And it was such a surprise then to see LA, even more of a surprise to see Vegas. So I'm really glad that you got a chance to do that. That's so awesome, especially you. It must have been such a surprise to know it was right in your backyard. Sita says you were like a Butter and PTD era ARMY. It's better late than never. I always like the ARMY saying that you found BTS right when you needed them. I know that was definitely true for me. So I'm glad that you found them. Yeah, I have no idea what they're gonna plan for the HYYH anniversary, but I mean 10 years is amazing. And I feel like there's HYYH is such an important bridge in between like the school era stuff and then into Wings, which is another favorite of mine, and then into Love Yourself and straight on through. And there's just, I wasn't ARMY during the era when HYYH was coming out, but it's such an iconic, such an important era. I think it is when so much of their messaging and their themes really start to develop and like really, really cook that I really just hope we see some kind of really loving project that gives HYYH kind of the honor that it deserves. Like you said, it's too iconic. It has to be given something really, really special. I don't know if there's going to be like some kind of retrospective of it or an album or a show. I have no idea what they're planning, but so let me, since we've been at it for a few minutes, let me see. I'm so new to this, but I have just another little screen rather than my little starting soon screen. So let's see if that shows up. It might take a minute or two to show up on your end. I'm not sure. Oh, I like what you said about butterfly. Said I know what you mean. That in one of my videos I said that I have like never cried so much in all my life as when I became ARMY. And just so many of their songs have the power to do that, or just their story or things about them. It's it is so powerful. Yeah, me too, AK. Mott 7 for me. It's funny, I became ARMY like a week before Map of the Soul 7 came out. And it was like, so it was completely unrelated to Map of the Soul that I became ARMY, but I always say that was my era because literally, actually in a couple days, it's going to be my 5th anniversary of being an ARMY. I became an ARMY on Valentine's Day. I had actually been working on a project that I knew I wanted to have completed by Valentine's Day. That was like my goal. And I had kind of been hearing about BTS. I'd kind of been like, I'd heard Mic Drop before that, and so I was familiar enough with them, but they were kind of in the background. And I was, starting to see more and more videos crop up. And I'm like, okay, my reward for finishing my project will be I'm going to watch a couple of these videos. So I watched a couple of these videos, and I ended with Namjoon's speech at the UN from 2018. And it just so spoke to me and my experiences and my life. And it was, it was such a transformative experience. And so I became, a really dedicated ARMY very, very quickly. And like a week later, Map of the Soul 7 came out, and I'm like, oh, look, BTS has a new album. That's cool. And little did I know that it was going to be, so iconic and so amazing and just totally, pull me further into the BTS rabbit hole. Yeah, that is, Sita, you're totally right. That was exactly it for me too. Because like I said, I knew Mic Drop, and I was just like, oh yes, these guys who sing Mic Drop, I wanna learn, their names. I want to learn more about them. Who's who? I used to like watch the dance practice for Mic Drop and things like that. And I'm like, who's who in this lineup? They're all wearing name tags. Because it was the dance practice for when they did it at I forget if it was either MMA or Mama. I'd have to look at the dance practice, but they all have their name tags on. And I'm just like, I want to know, like, who is who? Like, who is that guy? And what's that name? Because a lot of them are written in Hangul, of course. And it just started off that way. And then, once I got some of the funny videos, of course, a lot of ARMY started on the funny videos. I did too. And then, the speech at the UN, and I was just like, okay, I'm here forever. And then I just kept listening to more songs, and got sucked in immediately to Map of the Soul 7. I was also because COVID quarantine happened right around that time. I had a lot of time, obviously, to watch them, and I'd been ARMY for maybe like a month and a half when they did the very first Bang Bang Con, not Bang Bang Con the live, but Bang Bang Con where they were playing some of the old concerts. So I got a chance to watch the Wings concert. So then I got really, really hooked on Wings. And I'd already gotten really hooked on Blood, Sweat, and Tears because I'd just been going through, a lot of their music videos, and Blood, Sweat, and Tears was just, grabbed my entire imagination. And I didn't even know about the BTS universe back then. I was trying to decipher what Blood, Sweat, and Tears meant. And I didn't have any of the background from like any of the previous music videos, like Run or I Need You or anything like that. All I had was Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and I'm just like, what does it mean? Sidha, the Proof is a good one to have be like your first big album drop because you just get a little bit of everything. There's all of the title tracks, and then there's all of the ones that the members themselves kind of said we want on this album. So that's like a really, really great one to have be your first intro. AK's asking my bias. So I cheat a little bit. I technically say that I have two members as my bias, which I like I said, I know that's a cheat, but Namjoon and Jin are my two biases, and then Yoongi is my bias wrecker. What about you guys? Honestly, Sidha, like I said, I've been in ARMY for almost 5 years, and even I haven't heard all of their songs. There's some on some of the earlier albums that I just like, some of the more quote unquote like obscure ones that I haven't listened to, or I've listened to maybe once or twice, and I haven't gone back and listened to as frequently. Um, but I have the older albums and would love to sit down and really dive deep into some of those more like kind of B track type songs. Sidha, yes, I love that description. He really has held the group together, right? Namjin, their dynamic is just so fun to me, being the leader and the eldest brother. I think there's just like a really sweet camaraderie between them, where I do feel like they really support each other in a really sweet way. I love them both. They're both of their personalities are very different elements, but I think they kind of get to the same thing, the same sort of love of BTS and love of their message. I think they're both very influential in a lot of like the love yourself era ideas and themes, and love yourself as an idea is very important to me on a personal level. So, of course, I love the two who I think really have kind of adopted love yourself as their own personal mantra. AK says, Tae, Wreckers, Yoongi. I have another Yoongi record. That's awesome. I think, or Jimin. It's the ARMY condition of everybody is biased wrecker. I can totally relate, Sitha. I'm a big introvert. So my friend group in real life is very small and very tight knit. So when you see BTS and you kind of see, imagine having this friend group that you go on, these trips with, and you have all these life experiences with. It is very, very special. And I love the way that they themselves talk about it a lot of times, that it's friendship, it's brotherhood, it's working together as a team, so it's all of these like very complex relationships in one, and I think that's really interesting. Yeah, you are so right. All of them can be wreckers at one time or another. Yep, very accurate. So I don't really have a lot of plans for this stream. Like my thumbnail said, like my background says right now. This is just a bit of a chat because I wanted to test out how this works. I wanted to test out how my equipment works, because I'm just like using, like I said earlier, the microphone that I use to make my videos. And I just sort of wanted to see if that worked for streaming, if I had to download some software that I'm still kind of getting used to. So wanted to see if that worked. So we can just chat about whatever you guys want, and just feel like you guys are perfect. You are already totally chatting about everything that I was hoping we'd chat about today. So awesome. So Sidha, yes, I always feel that way too, that they were just kind of destined to be BTS. And, it's kind of interesting because their stories, they came from such different backgrounds and like different things that they were interested in, but they all came together so perfectly to be BTS. And that always just blows my mind. Okay, so favorite album, if possible. I know it is so hard. Excuse me. I do always have to say Map of the Soul 7. Just that album was so special to me, having been like my first comeback. But also it's just an amazing album. Like I cannot wait to talk about it with you guys, because every time I start to analyze Map of the Soul, like I usually, when I analyze Map of the Soul 7, I also tend to throw in the two Persona songs that weren't included on it, just because I think you have to take Persona and 7 as like a package deal. And just when you analyze the way that all those songs fit together, and the way the themes develop throughout the album, and kind of the way they include the Jungian topics, it's so fascinating to me. And so not only does it have this incredible nostalgia for me, but it's also just such a densely packed album. And Namjoon has described that as like the album that tells about them, and it's their story from beginning to end. And obviously in 2020 they did think that they were probably going to be slowing things down, because they thought they had military service then, and so you do feel just like that completeness in that album that I just think is incredible. My second favorite album is Wings. Again, I got introduced to Wings very early on in my ARMY life, and same thing, I just love the color, everybody has such a distinct color that they add to Wings. Everybody's songs are so personal. I just love it so much. Yes, I love that, Sita. That is so accurate, and I love watching how they did go from just, basically nothing. Basically, we've heard all the boys talk about it, how they were practically going to get sent home because Big Hit was almost out of money. And now they're, this team that's easily one of the best bands in the world. And it is frustrating, obviously, as somebody who lives in America. We don't see that, I think, discussed enough here in America. It's always, oh, it's just BTS is just that K-pop group over there. We don't see enough that this is one of the most influential, one of the biggest, one of the most famous, one of the most successful bands ever. My dad is has always been a big fan of Elvis. So when I'm, driving with my dad or something, we are always listening to Elvis and BTS. And it is so interesting when you think of, in huge stars throughout the history of music. A lot of people always say the Beatles, and compare BTS to the Beatles. And so when you consider that we talk about BTS in the same breath as those bands, it really is incredible. Oh, thank you so much, Sidha. I'm so glad you got to stop by. And provided that I can do the technology right, the rest of this live stream, however long it is, will be available to watch on the channel. So you can always catch up if you want, and if you missed anything. And keep your eyes peeled for my Map of the Soul live stream. That should be on the 21st, because I believe that's Friday. That is around when their anniversary of that album should be. I always get messed up on Korean time, so it'll either be the 20th or 21st that the album came out, but I'll be doing my broadcast on the 21st. So I hope to see you then, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I just saw your comment as well, AK. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I know how much content there is and how it can be a little bit overwhelming. It's actually even a little bit overwhelming for me sometimes. But I like being able to kind of give my thoughts and kind of maybe bring everything together in a way that can be really, really hard with, how much they have. So I'm really glad that you find that helpful. That makes me really happy. Yeah, and you are so right. The Western music industry bias against K-pop is something that a lot of other YouTubers who are a lot smarter than I am have done really great videos about, and it's just always very, very frustrating to see that. Hi, Gina. December 2023. That's awesome. I'm glad that you found them. You like Jimin, J-Hope, and V because of their senses of humor and sweet personalities. That's awesome. It is nice to meet you too. I'm so glad to have you here today. And if there's anything that you wanted to know about the channel or about me, feel free to ask. I know we were just talking about like biases and favorite albums and stuff. If there's anything any questions you've had about this channel, I know this is still such a very, very tiny channel. So I haven't had a lot of chance to show you what I want to show you. But I do have a lot of videos planned. So I don't plan on going anywhere, hopefully. Yep, we were actually talking about that earlier, that you always find them when you need them, and I think that's really true. I like to think so too. I think that it's important in this fandom, I think, because of the biases that they face in the Western music industry, or even in, how often they were locked out of things in Korea, being not from one of the big three K-pop companies. I think it is important that we as ARMY, if we can, those of us who have the ability or have the desire, or whatever the case may be, I do think it's important that we act almost as their interpreters. because otherwise people don't, it's easy to overlook them and people don't want to give them a chance. And so I do think it's really important that we can kind of, in a way, be their voice. That sounds strange, but that we can kind of, and that's always been very important to me, because even nowadays I still get people who give me very strange looks when I say that I'm a BTS fan, or roll their eyes or anything like that. And that's why I always find it important to be able to put that forward and be like, no, it's not what you're thinking. It's a lot more important. It's a lot, there's a depth to them and an importance to what they say that I think always needs to be addressed. You guys probably, from watching my videos, know all the time, practically in every single video, I feel the need to make a comment about how, BTS helps like the people who can't help themselves. They are like the champions of people who need to be uplifted and things like that. And it's like, you probably are and I'm my next video is going to be about Dionysus, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to be having that same conversation. And I know I probably sound a little bit like a broken record when I say that, but I do think it's really, really important, because I do think a lot of people just think of them as very surface level, or they're just a band that people just, come and listen to them and watch them because they're good looking. And they totally ignore the fact that a lot of what BTS does is incredibly healing for people. And, looking at love yourself, like I said earlier, love yourself is a very important message that I really needed in my life. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. And it is kind of, it's a bit crazy to me how often the idea of self-love is looked down on. And so that's a prime example of just where I think it is so important to be able to say, no, what these guys are doing is really important, and the messages that they give are really important messages. So yes, I agree. It's so frustrating to see what they deal with, and to know the prejudice against them for no reason, absolutely no reason at all. And we've, unfortunately, as armies, we've seen a lot of that, even just during their, the hiatus for their military service. And we've seen how that is still, unfortunately, alive and well in this day and age, even though they have proven themselves time and time again. So, we kind of, as armies, I think it's important that we do whatever we can, because we all have things that we bring to the fandom, just like they all have things they bring to the group. And I think it's important that in whatever way we kind of add to that legacy of just like, no, it's more than what most people see. So that was my little rambling rant about how BTS, it's crazy to me how BTS still is so misunderstood by so many people. Oh, thank you so much, Gina. I really appreciate that. It can be really, really tough when you have people who just don't get it, or don't know them, or don't have any desire to, get to know them. I'm really lucky that I kind of converted a lot of people in my life to being ARMY, but it can be really tough. Hello, hi, welcome. I mentioned it briefly, but I've actually, the 5th anniversary of me becoming an ARMY is going to be on Valentine's Day. So in about, 5 days, I will have been an ARMY for 5 years. Like I was saying earlier, I became an ARMY around Map of the Soul 7, but not because of Map of the Soul 7. I had been an ARMY for about a week when Map of the Soul 7 was released, and was like, oh, look at that, a new BTS album. That's cool. They have a new album coming out, and didn't know that it was going to be an album that completely took over my entire brain, which it did. Hello, I'm so glad to see more people coming to hang out in the chat. Also, if I mispronounce anybody's name at any point, just yell at me, because I can be terrible with pronunciation. You've probably also seen that in my videos. Right? I did have some really good timing. It was shockingly good timing. I am so with you there, AK. I am very nervous but very excited to see them come back. It's just like the unknown. I don't think we've often had that feeling of just unknown with BTS. We've had feelings of surprise, we've had feelings of, oh, what comes next? But the last time I think we had this big feeling of the unknown was when they announced that they were going on hiatus. And so to now come to the end of that hiatus is kind of nerve-wracking and in a way that I wasn't expecting. It's just like, what are we gonna get? What's gonna happen? I had asked this earlier, but to any of my newer arrivals, where are you watching from today? Canada. That's awesome. I completely agree. AK, I still can't believe any of that. Gina, Indianapolis. Awesome. For those who just got here, you probably didn't hear me say earlier, I'm located in Florida. And to anybody who just got here as well, feel free to, we were talking earlier about like favorite albums, biases, the usual stuff when ARMY comes together. Feel free to let me know in the chat, how long you guys have been ARMY, favorite albums, first albums, anything like that. Hello. Oh my gosh, I love your username, Hitchhiker Hobbit. That is amazing. Found BTS through Hope World. That's awesome. Been an ARMY for just under a year. Oh, that's awesome. I hope my videos have been helpful and kind of demystifying the discography a little bit. Like I said earlier, I know I don't have a lot of videos yet, but I'm very much a slowpoke when it comes to making videos, and I definitely apologize for that. But I hope that I can add some more discussion to everything. Very cute. Your friends call you Pippin. I love that. Also, to answer AK's question, as she had asked if anybody's going to see Hobie's concerts, I am not, just because they are not in good locations for me. And I am kind of like we were talking earlier about the anticipation of what happens when BTS comes back. I literally have a savings account right now that is titled 2026 comeback question mark. And I'm just putting money into that because I'm like, wherever they are, I'm going. So I'm like hoarding all my money together to go see BTS when they come back. And I'm just, I wish that they would come a little bit closer to me than I had gone to LA for PTD, the first PTD concert. And it was a great time. I had a blast, but oh my gosh, it was a journey to get out there. It was a 6-hour flight. And I'm like, can you guys maybe come closer this time? Oh, thank you. I'm so glad that you liked the Pied Piper video. We have 10th ARMY anniversary. Wow, that's amazing. Did you become ARMY around like HYYH? And also, yes, everybody at my job knows, everybody at work knows that when BTS comes back, I'm going. Where, like, I've already have everybody on warning that at some point I will be going to Korea. They all already know this. Oh, you became ARMY thanks to Dope. That's a great comeback to have been a part of from what I've seen and heard from people that was just like revolutionary. The UK? Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm a big introvert and I don't like crowds. So concert was an interesting experience. But I I don't know if this is true for other concerts because PTDLA was obviously the first one I had been to just because of becoming an ARMY around the time COVID hit. But it was a really different world, and I'm very much used to the only people that I really know in real life who are ARMY are the people that I've made ARMY. So I'm kind of used to it being like a very niche thing. When I got off the plane at LAX, and there I like remember walking down this set of stairs to like a kind of like one of the exits, and I just like turned the corner to go down that set of stairs, and everybody as far as the eye could see was in BTS merchandise. And I was so thrown off because I'm not used to like basically being somewhere where being ARMY is just like the default state. And so I was there in my BTS shirt, and I had made a friend at the airport in Orlando, where I was leaving from. And so it was like she and I were like kind of the only people who were, very visibly in BTS merch at the Orlando airport. And then we got to LAX and walked down that set of stairs, and everybody's in, like the BT21 headbands, and they've all got like shirts on and backpacks with BTS pins and buttons and things, and people have photo cards, and it was a very different experience that really kind of made it like super comfortable, even for somebody like me who doesn't want to like really ever be in crowds or things like that, because everybody just felt so friendly. It just felt like it really did feel like a community, which was very, very cool. I am so with you. I think about that all the time. I would have loved to have been a part of the Love Yourself era and the Love Yourself concerts. I am honestly, personally obsessed with the Rose Bowl concert that they did for when they did Love Yourself, Speak Yourself. I've probably watched that concert like 10, 20 times, just in its entirety, because it's amazing. Has anybody else been to some concerts? I know we were talking earlier about going to some of the concerts. I agree. I hope every army gets a chance to see them perform live. It's such a like it sounds very cliche to say this, but it is such an experience, and going to PTDLA was, again, very cliche, but it was the best day of my life. Like, and I had been having a really, really hard couple of months before I went to PTDLA, and it was even more special to me, and it was just unbelievable. It was such an unbelievable experience. Yeah, the nice thing about Army is they are very from what I was in a kind of by accident. I was in like the third section up in SoFi Stadium, so it's not like I was like right there, but I managed to get like the one seat in the front row, and so I was in like the front row corner of section 3, kind of up, up a little bit higher, but still in the front of that section, just totally by accident, because I didn't know what tickets I had picked because I was in a panic on the ticket picking screen. But so I got lucky. I wasn't necessarily like in the middle of the crowd. But from what I saw, everybody was like very, very, very chill. I still totally get, obviously safety comes first, but I do think that army crowds tend to be like very helpful in that sense. So you might have some luck, but yes, safety definitely comes first. Oh, you got to go see one of the Love Yourself, Speak Yourself concerts. Oh, that's amazing. Those are some just truly, truly iconic concerts. I know they probably won't, but speaking of concerts, there is that part of me that still kind of wishes that they would do the Map of the Soul tour that they never got to do. I am like positive that they won't do that. I know Yoongi once said that they have kind of put that behind them. But it just as a Map of the Soul 7 army, it makes me very sad that we never got to see that performed the way I think it like deserved. Obviously, we got the online concert for that, which was amazing. I love that concert, but it makes me sad to know that they probably had some amazing stages planned that they never got to do in person. Don't Feed the Bear said, I live stream as well. That is amazing. If you have any tips for me, please feel free to let me know because as I said at the beginning of this broadcast, this is the very first time I am doing this. So I am very much a baby live streamer, and was kind of learning a lot of this as best as I could. Yeah, I agree with that, AK. It has that feeling. Um it's and I'm sure anybody else who's been to a concert can attest to that. You really do feel like it's okay to be who I am here, and I definitely felt like a sense of belonging when I was there. Um and like I was very I'm an introvert. I'm a kind of reserved person, kind of a bit of a shy person. When I was at PTDLA, I became a different person, and I was filming a lot of the concert on my phone. And when I went back and like listened to, watched my videos, I was like, oh my God, who is this person? Oh my gosh, it's me, as I'm screaming and singing. And at my concert, they did their encore was We Are Bulletproof the Eternal and Young Forever, and I was literally weeping, and I'm just like, this I'm so embarrassing. Like, I will never show anybody these videos because I'm so embarrassing in these videos, but it really was, a moment where I was kind of just at just like letting it all sort of come to the surface, and like all of my enthusiasm and all my excitement about BTS, all my emotion about BTS. It was crazy. Thank you so much. That's a very sweet comment from Don't Feed the Bears. I appreciate your contribution to BTS positivity. Thank you so much. I really do try. Um, I'm very passionate, obviously, about their music and the messages behind their music and what I think those messages can do for people. And it always makes me sad to see it reduced to they're just a boy band, they're just a boy band that little girls like, which obviously is false. We do have young armies, and I'm so glad we have young armies, but it's just like we have armies of every nationality and race and gender and background and age. And, so I always hope that my videos can kind of make that clear. And I don't really think that people who are necessarily BTS skeptics would necessarily find my videos, but I do hope to add some of that to the conversation. That's awesome, AK. I had a similar experience. The airport at LA had an area where all the buses to like different hotels were running, and again, most of that was a huge majority of it was Army. And I was literally just like talking with people, from all over the world. Same thing in my hotel, people all over the world who were there. And it was so much fun to just be standing there waiting for the bus, or standing there waiting to check into the hotel, and then there was a bus to the concert venue and talking to people there. And it was just like, it was such a cool opportunity to meet so many ARMY from all over the country and all over the world who had come to support BTS. I think my favorite of my concert stories was, I don't know if anybody else has experienced this. It was so chaotic trying to get out of SoFi Stadium that night. And I had come in on a bus, and the bus was kind of stuck in trying to park and let people off. So a bunch of us on the bus had like exchanged numbers, and we're like, hey, we'll let you know where the bus parked, so that way later tonight you can find where the bus is going to pick us up again. So I was one of the people who got off the bus and had exchanged numbers with somebody. So later that night after the concert, they were telling me where it was, and I could not find it. So I was literally wandering around SoFi Stadium after the concert, completely lost. And I was not the only person, like, and no one could tell me where to go, and other people were there waiting, and there were no Ubers, there were no taxis. So I'm standing there, I'm just like, I have no idea what the heck to do. I guess I'm just going to stay, just stand here until things calm down. And another ARMY approached me, and she said, hi, I'm here alone. I can't find where I'm supposed to go to get back to my hotel. I'm really starting to get nervous. Can I wait with you? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I was like, I was just kind of walking around trying to see what's what. Let's walk together. So as we're walking, we start talking, and I asked where she's from, and it turned out she was from Thailand. And so while we're walking along, we encountered another ARMY, and she was a little bit of an older ARMY, and she kind of joined our little group, and she was awesome. She managed to find a taxi, like an open taxi, and was just like, we are getting in this taxi. And so we all piled in the back of this taxi, and then we started talking, and it turns out she was from Scotland. And our hotels, I don't know how this happened. This was like some really bangtang borahe luck. Our hotels were literally like a block from each other. So all three of us were going to like the exact same place. And we were just talking in the taxi ride. And it was so cool to think that she was from Scotland and I'm from America, and our other new friend was from Thailand. And we all had come together in this one place just because we love BTS. And we're all on this like crazy journey just because we love BTS. And that was honestly one of my favorite things about the concert. And I tell that story to like literally anybody who will listen, because that to me is so what being ARMY is about. It was such a mind-blowing experience. Yes, I so agree. It is such a safe space, especially at concerts. And I hope that my channel can be a safe space too. That's why I named it the ARMY Theorist Corner. I just had this mental image of like a group of people in like a corner of a library or something, just something that was like cozy, but also very informative, and like just like a really safe place to learn about BTS and talk about BTS and just like kind of feel like cozy and secure while doing it. And I really, really, really hope that I maintain that atmosphere, and I really hope that's the atmosphere that I have. That's my goal. Unfortunately, we didn't exchange any information, and it's one of my biggest regrets of the concert, is that I didn't exchange any information with the people in the taxi. It was just like it all happened so fast, and when I got back to my hotel, I'm like, why didn't I ask them for their information? Because it was such an amazing experience, and having that with them is like such a cherished memory. Oh gosh. Oh, so you experienced that. Oh no, you experienced that at Allegiant Stadium too. Oh gosh. Yeah, it was, I don't know, there's something about the PTD concerts where it's like the stadiums were expecting that they were going to be very crowded, very popular concerts, but then they didn't do anything about it. And I'm just like, what happened? But they did their best. They definitely did their best. And we were a huge group of people. And they did their best with us. I don't know if this is true, but I remember around the time that I went to the concert, I saw somebody post online that an employee at SoFi Stadium said that they had been, working there for as long as like the stadium had been open, because it's not a super old stadium, it's pretty new. And the employee said, I've been here for other concerts, I've been here for sporting events, but I've never felt the stadium shake the way I felt the stadium shake when BTS came out on day one, which I would absolutely believe. Hello to my new people in the chat. I just noticed as I was talking that a couple other people came in. It's great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, the chaos and I got lucky SoFi Stadium day one because I was there early enough to get in, but I know that there were armies who didn't get in on time just because of the chaos of that line. And I have to tell you, if I had missed them doing On, I literally would have lost my mind. Because On is one of my favorite BTS songs ever, and knowing that that's how the concert was going to start, if I had missed that, somebody would have had to pay. I would not have been very nice. Hello everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I'm really excited that you're all here. Yeah, me too. On was I it's so I had listened to Mic Drop first, and then so I knew of them through Mic Drop, but then because I became ARMY like right around the time that Map of the Soul 7 came out, the performance where they did On in I think I'd listened to like a few other songs around that time. Like I think I'd already heard Blood, Sweat, and Tears and seen the music video, so I was already like really attached to that. But then one of the first performances that I saw was On when they did it on the Tonight Show in Grand Central Station. And it was so mind-blowing and it was just incredible. And it was just like, I felt so secure in being ARMY. I'm like, yeah, no, this is what I want to be. I'm not going back ever. These guys are so incredible. They're so unlike anything I'd ever seen. And that performance is still so dear to me. Like for a while it was off of YouTube. And I was like so sad. I was like, if I can't ever see this performance again, I'm going to be devastated. And thank goodness it's back. But I'm not going to J-Hope's concerts just because they are not super convenient for me to get to. Even though I did go to LA, that was like quite an undertaking. But I'm really excited for I was excited seeing all the like clips and ARMY stories coming out of when Yoongi did his concerts. So I'm really excited to see all of the stuff that's coming out for J-Hope's concerts. I'm so excited to see all that. To all of my newer arrivals, where are you guys watching from today? I agree with you, AK. I think Hobie's concerts are gonna be amazing. His Lollapalooza performance was just so great. I loved using so many clips from that in the video that I did when he got out of the military. So I can just imagine, he's gonna have even more command of the stage. It's gonna be amazing. From California, from Venezuela. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I'm exactly the same. So it's actually kind of funny. Before I was an ARMY, one of the bands that I was like the most frequently listening to was actually Coldplay. And then for Coldplay to kind of form that friendship with BTS, it actually really became, it was like my old interest and my new interest are coming together. I was never like necessarily like a huge Coldplay fan, like, you know, like actively following them, but I did always love their music. And that was like kind of, I wasn't a huge music person until BTS, you know, so it's like I was kind of listening to mostly Coldplay, and then like, you know, some older stuff. It's like, you know, throwback stuff. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, my dad's a big Elvis fan. My parents, you know, will listen to 80s music a lot. So it's just like, that's kind of what I was listening to. And so to be introduced to new genres like rap and hip hop through the rap line, and kind of just being exposed to music that I never would have otherwise been listening to, and now I have it all through BTS, is really exciting. From Uzbekistan, that's awesome. Sequoia Lynch, good to see you. No worries at all. Am I saying your name right, Sequoia? Sequoia? I'm so horrible with names. I am so sorry. If I ever mispronounce anybody's names, just tell me. Just be like, no. And my name is Rachel. I know I've said that in my introduction video and in a couple of my community posts, but just if you didn't know that, my name is Rachel. I'm so happy to have a nice little group here. I would have very happily done a live broadcast to only one person, but it's awesome to have a little group here. I was honestly worried that I was going to be doing a live broadcast to absolutely no one. So I'm very glad to have you all here. And it's nice to meet all of you too. I'm excited to see names that I recognize from my comment section, and other people that maybe I haven't had a chance to talk to yet. I'm just really excited to see you all here. Yay! Nice to meet you too. I'm so glad. I am from Florida. That is where I live right now, Central Florida. Right? BTS and Coldplay was like the best collab in my opinion. I was so happy, and it makes me so happy to know that that was such a genuine relationship. Do I listen to any other K-pop groups? I am actually BTS only, because there's just so much, that it's like my BTS playlist that I like have on my, you know, my iPod. That sounds really old, but my iPod BTS playlist is literally like 8 hours long. And it's not even fully complete. And so I'm just like, do I need to listen to anybody else? No, probably not. Which is, I know that there are a lot of amazing K-pop groups out there, so that is absolutely, I'm not throwing shade, but it's just like, I barely have enough time to listen to all of BTS. Oh, thank you so much for telling your Discord community about me. That is so nice. So there are a few things that, to answer the question of what got me down the BTS rabbit hole, there are a few different things. My first BTS song was Mic Drop. And it's funny because I'd actually kind of heard about BTS, like I'd seen them on magazines and things like that. And so like I knew of them, but I didn't really know them. And I found Mic Drop like totally by accident. And it really came to me, I think I said this in my very first intro video. It came to me in a time period when I really, really needed it. And just like really kind of needed to feel that like kind of powerful emotion and like feel better about myself. So I became kind of hooked on that song, but I honestly thought it was just going to be like, that's it. That's the only BTS song that I listen to. And then I started watching like some funny videos of them and kind of got more attached to them. And then the thing that really made me an ARMY was I eventually came across Namjoon's speech at the United Nations from 2018. And again, that really resonated with me on a personal level. And I became an ARMY literally a week before Map of the Soul 7 came out. So I already was kind of getting to know all the members, and I was already starting to get to know their music. I was already pretty much down the BTS rabbit hole because of the speech at the UN, because of some of the other songs and music videos I'd been listening to and watching. But then Map of the Soul 7 coming out, I was pretty much hooked. I like the statement of you cannot afford to fall down the rabbit hole with that hard with anybody else. Yeah, I know what you mean. And you're so right, Gina. I've definitely seen that happen. I love. I don't really watch too much reaction content, but I see a lot of it come up, in like my feed, because my feed is all BTS content. And it's very, very cool to see people go from really skeptical and thinking that they're gonna go in to watching BTS hating it, and to come out, on the other side and end up loving them. The question of, do I know all of their songs? I would say I know most of their songs. I was saying earlier in the broadcast, some of the, for lack of a better word, some of the more obscure songs on like some of the older albums, I don't know as well. Like, I would know their titles, but if you played them for me, I wouldn't necessarily really be able to sing along. I'd be able to kind of nod along. But I would say I've listened to probably every BTS song from 2013 up to hiatus time. I've listened to every BTS song at least once. I will admit that I'm the everybody's solo work came out so fast that I'm very far behind on like solo work. Again, I would definitely know titles. I would even know melodies of a lot of them, but it's like so much stuff came out within that period that I definitely am not equipped to know all of that. That's so funny that like a lot of like more casual people in your life knew Dynamite. I feel like that's something I've encountered a lot as well. Although I'm very happy to report that the song that plays, there is a BTS song that plays at my job, and it's actually My Universe. And that's how everybody at work learned that I was a BTS fan, because the day that I realized that My Universe was playing on our store radio, I was like, this is BTS in Coldplay, oh my gosh. What are my favorite BTS songs? So I always say that my top 3 BTS songs are On, Black Swan, and Blood, Sweat, and Tears. If you said to me that I could only pick 10 BTS songs for the rest of my life, I would cry, because I would not know how I would do that. On and Black Swan are definitely my favorites, and it depends on the day. I switch back and forth between saying that On or Black Swan are my favorites because I love them both so much. What is the one thought you had as a baby ARMY that turned out to be false? Mine is Yoongi and Suga being different people. I love that. That is so great. The one thought that I had as a baby ARMY that turned out to be false would probably be this is very much an ARMY Theorist response, but I got addicted to Blood, Sweat, and Tears before I knew anything about the BTS universe. So I actually, one of my first like ARMY Theorist moments was I went on this whole tangent, like mentally, where I was convinced that Blood, Sweat, and Tears was a representation of the 7 deadly sins. And I came up with this whole theory about it. And then as I got more and more into BTS, I was like, oh, yeah, that's actually not right. It's actually all the BTS universe stuff. But I still kind of cling to that theory a little bit because it was my first theory. And if you guys are ever curious about that, I would gladly make a video about once upon a time when I was a baby ARMY and had my whole theory about Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I so agree with you, AK. Favorite song? How much time do we have? It's like you mean favorite song on each album, right? Not favorite song overall, right? So, I agree. We all are OT7 here, but I said earlier, I cheat a little bit. I have 2 biases. I consider my biases to be Namjoon and Jin, and then Yoongi is my bias wrecker. Yeah, I have done the same thing to friends that I've gotten into BTS. They're like, give me a couple BTS songs to listen to. And I'm like, oh, you want a couple BTS songs? Do you want me to make you a 40-song playlist that I've arranged in order based on what I think flows into one another really well? Do you want explanations with those songs? Because I can give you that. And they're like, no, I want maybe 2 or 3. I'm like, too bad, you're getting a playlist. And thank you very much for saying that my blood, sweat, and tears theory is still valid. I was very proud of my blood, sweat, and tears theory. But that is pretty much what made me an ARMY theorist, was the music video for Blood, Sweat, and Tears so captured my imagination, and I watched it like 100 times. When I first became ARMY, I literally would watch it like 3 or 4 times every day just because I was so amazed by it. Can we include solos in the top song? Oh my gosh, if we include solos in the top songs, I'm right there with you. I would be here forever. I do have to say that probably my favorite song of all time, I don't usually include it when I talk about BTS songs because it is a solo song, but probably my favorite song of all time is Namjoon's Moonchild. It's just very, very important to me on a personal level, to the point where I literally wear a moon ring on my thumb just to remind me of Moonchild, and when I'm out in the world. So, favorite music video. Blood, Sweat, and Tears is definitely up there. I will always love that video. I also really, really, really love the music video for On. And you guys probably know this from the video that I did about the music video for On. There's just so much there. And it's a whole story. And I literally call that music video the story music video, to differentiate it from the On Come Prima one. But that one is so high on the list for me. I love that. Also, if talking about favorite music videos in terms of solo work, I'm extremely fond of The Astronaut. The Astronaut is very, very dear to my heart. And I think that's a beautiful music video. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, so many good songs in the chat right now. Amygdala and Shadow. Oh, so good. Yes, I am very much... Mono means a lot to me. And when I do my video for when, because I'm doing my best to do videos for all the members as they get out of the military, it's going to be really hard as we get to the rest of them coming out, because they all get out in a little block. But when I do a video talking about Namjoon, when he gets out, I am definitely going to be talking about Mono, just because Mono is so special to me. But you're right, there really are too many to choose from for both songs and music videos, and it's just it really is. It's kind of like, what mood are you in today? and that's, what is your favorite song of the moment? What is your favorite song this week? Thank you so much to the people who have to head out. Thank you so much for stopping in. I am so grateful you were here. I hope to see you again soon. My next broadcast is probably going to be on February 21st to celebrate the 5th anniversary of Map the Soul 7. So I hope to see you there. Yes. Oh my gosh. D2. I love D2. I am obsessed with D2. My current, if we're talking about current album obsessions, I am very much obsessed with Jin's Happy right now. I've been obsessed with Happy since it came out. And it's because it's so short. I'm sad that it's short, but also because it's short, it is a great amount of time to listen to, like, while I'm getting ready for work or things like that. And so it's just like, I love listening to Happy. Who's your favorite member? Whoever's on screen at that specific moment. Yes. Yeah. Go-to album being Love Yourself Answer. That is such a good go-to album. It's so good. I know, right? Happy was so short. I'm like, I love the amount of work that he did to get that together, between when he got out of the military and when it was released in November, is staggering to me. He worked so hard, but I definitely, more Jin music would be great. On Man is the song that I tell people about when I want them to understand the like how much BTS will care about their fans. One of my best friends, she was talking to me about like when I mentioned earlier putting together playlists for people. I definitely did that for my best friend. She was like, put me together a playlist of BTS songs. I'm like, you got it. So and I was talking to her about Ampon Man after she listened to it, and then she was like, okay, so at what point does somebody know that they're ARMY? After I was telling her about the meaning behind Ampon Man, and I was just like, yep. Honestly, I love that description. Go to album is shuffle. Yes. So I figure we probably have about like half an hour more we'll stay and chat for. Like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, this was a little bit more of a, kind of free flow. Just figured we could chat like we are, um, and ask questions and anything. So I love the vibe. I love the vibe so much. And this is just kind of my practice live stream. So maybe about half an hour, or I'll get to a total of 2 hours. We're at an hour 17 right now. I can get to like 2 hours, and we'll call it there. What are you hoping for BTS Chapter 3 when they are back together? That is a great question. Um, Definitely a concert. A tour of some kind. Just I think I hope that that's something that they really want. And I know that we all want it, but I really hope that they want it too. Um, I would love for them to do a Bon Voyage, but I also kind of hope that I believe Tay discussed this with Yoongi in the episode of Suchita, and I just really hope that they go on a trip, maybe just themselves, and don't have the cameras rolling, and just kind of enjoy each other's company a bit. Um, I'm a huge fan of the In the Soup as well, the first In the Soup especially. And I'm almost like, I kind of hope that they go and do like an In the Soup, and we never know about it, and they just hang out for a while. And then they come back, and I'm so eager for like a new BTS album, if that's a thing that they want to do. So I'd love an album, love a tour. I said earlier in the live that I don't think they'd ever do the Map of the Soul tour that was canceled. I think they've kind of put that behind them, but I kind of wish they would. But I think they'd probably do more of like when they did the Permission to Dance on Stage concerts, and it was a little bit more of a greatest hits, which I can't say I'd mind that either. What about you guys? What are you hoping for from when we see BTS come back together? And yes, I so agree with Magic Shop. Magic Shop is just one of the best songs ever. If there is a tour, I will very selfishly say that I do hope that they're a little bit closer to me than Los Angeles. That was tough. I agree. I think we're all kind of starving for BTS content. So whatever they want to give us, I would love if they wanted to come back and do more Run BTS. Run Jin has been amazing. I'm so glad that Jin has kind of kept that tradition alive. And it's like, I don't know if Run BTS is something that they want to keep doing, but I know Run BTS is my go-to comfort show. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably feel the same way as well. Right? Them hanging out together is just, that was always one of my favorite BTS things. just, it maybe, even if it's just maybe something like a Bang Tang Bomb, seeing them all sit together backstage somewhere, or, just hang out together. It's like, that was always such a warm feeling seeing that happen. And it's just like, I miss that. We were also talking earlier about the upcoming HYYH anniversary in April, and wondering what we would get for that. So, personally, I don't know what I would want to see from that. I'm kind of just intrigued by the idea of there being something to celebrate the HYYH anniversary. AK mentioned that, yes, we did get a lot of ballads at the SoFi concerts, which was great, but also left me a weeping mess. I'm not kidding when I literally say I was weeping at the end of my concert. I also wanted to let you guys know I do promise that I'm working on other videos. I can't believe that it has been over 4 months since my last one. And I know I mentioned in a community post around that time that I'm like, oh, I'm hoping to get my next video up, and it never happened. I am so sorry. Just between I was out of town for a little while, and then it was right into Christmas, and I work retail. I work a retail job. So obviously Christmas was a little bit crazy, and then by the time January hit, I was just almost in like recovery mode. So I am finally getting back into my scripts. And my next one is definitely, well, I shouldn't say definitely, because you know me and sticking to things, but my hope for my next one is going to be a video about Dionysus. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And then I have a couple other videos planned as well, that I'm really excited to work on. So I do promise there will be videos coming soon. the BTS Las Vegas residency. We absolutely know where AK would be for a while, right? If we need to find you, that's where you would be. Thank you very much for the nice comments about my upcoming videos. I am so sorry to keep you guys waiting. Everybody who's like my audience and usual people who are watching my videos are so patient with me, and I wish that I'm just so slow when it comes to making the videos. I'm just so slow and tend to be a little bit of a perfectionist when I'm making them. So they take me a little bit longer than they should. So thank you all for your patience. You're all amazing and so sweet about it. And of course, if there are any, oh, thank you. The effort shows in the result. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And of course, if there are any video or subject ideas that you guys have, I do have a very long list. So it does take me, I do see everybody's suggestions and things, and I'm always so happy when people suggest things. And chances are it's in the list somewhere. It is a very long list of video ideas, but I always love video ideas, so keep them coming. I'll be right back. I'm stepping away from my microphone for just a second, just getting something to drink. I'll be back in a minute. I'm back. Okay. Okay. Where do I go for lyric translations? Oh, you're originally from Korea. That is amazing. So my two sources for lyric translations are always Dulcet Bangtan and Bangtan Translations. And I actually love going to both of them because they actually have, some interesting places where they differ in how they interpret the translation of the lyrics. And that's really, really cool. And I actually have a couple of videos kind of planned down the line where I look at some of, like, I think the best example is Black Swan. And I have a video or a script that I'm working on for basically like a lyrical deep dive into Black Swan. And I talk a lot about how the two different translation sources are different and how that actually, like, they're obviously very, very similar, but the little changes here and there kind of change a little bit of the meaning. And that's very, very cool to me. So, obviously I'm, as an American, and English being my language, I don't have that same background, and so I do kind of rely on that. And it's so much fun to kind of see. And a sneak peek of some of my other ideas. So, in addition to the Dionysus one, I'm working on. I'm actually really excited about this video. This might be too much of a niche topic, so I don't know if this video will do well, but I'm excited about it. I've really started thinking about the idea of liminal space, which is like an aesthetic concept and just like a psychological concept about like places that are in between and like places that are like transitionary. And it's become a big thing on the internet in terms of aesthetic, because a lot of times it's like this weird mixture of nostalgic and creepy, because like a lot of times it'll be places that are really, common or well known, but that take on this like really eerie atmosphere when they're abandoned or when they're devoid of people. And the idea actually came to me during when Namjoon was doing the promotions for Right Place, Wrong Person, and a lot of his pictures that he was using as sort of like his early album promotions gave me like this really big liminal space vibe. And I started thinking about it, and it kind of, I don't know why it didn't click for me before, but it made me realize how often BTS actually uses liminal space in their videos. And so I want to go back and I want to talk about, like, there's a lot of liminal space type atmosphere and liminal vibes in things like Spring Day or in like some of the HYYH era music videos. And I just really, really want to talk about why I think that works so well, and why I think that actually really like corresponds really well to a lot of their song themes. So I'm working on that script as well, in addition to the Dionysus one, and I'm really excited for that. Aw, thank you. That's such a sweet comment. Yeah, this is a passion project of mine. And I definitely, I have nothing but respect for like the people who are BTS content creators who are able to make it their job. Like, I think that's amazing. And I love that ARMY kind of takes care of each other in that way. And it's like, if you make good content, ARMY will kind of uplift it. And I love that for those creators. But for me, my goal was kind of never to make this like my job. And so I just love making videos and, having ideas and making them. And so even if a video doesn't really do well, I'm like, that doesn't really matter to me. I'm just happy that I got to put it out there, and, anybody who got to see it and enjoy it, got to be a part of it. And the videos that I have that have done, I didn't expect my videos to do some of the numbers that they have. Like one of my very first videos was the how to analyze BTS video. Like, the algorithm for whatever reason really loved that video. I think it came out around the same time as other people's videos. about the BTS book. And so I think it got attached to a lot of those, and it has like 11,000 views or something crazy. And I was just like, I was not expecting that. And even some of my other ones, like my Pied Piper video, I think has like 7.6 thousand. And I'm so flattered by that, because it's just, I'm just doing these. I'm just a very passionate ARMY who happens to have a microphone and editing software. And so I'm so flattered that the things that I'm saying are resonating for people, and that people are excited about them. That makes me very happy. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you guys have been enjoying the videos that I have so far and are looking forward to the future ones. That you guys, the support that I get in like the comment section of the videos, and just like the support in general, the support here today on this live broadcast, it means the world to me. It really does. I'm so flattered. And I definitely do want to do more of these broadcasts when I can. I had said earlier that I have that one planned for Map of the Soul 7's anniversary, and I want to do one for HYH's anniversary as well. And I'll definitely plan more if we all kind of are having fun with these. I will gladly do more of this, because this has been really cool. I had no idea what to expect with doing live broadcasts. But when I realized that it was possible to do them without video, I thought that was really neat. Because I have very basic equipment. Like I have a very basic microphone and things like that. So I definitely don't have like, like a webcam or anything. And obviously I could get those things fairly easily, but I'm just like, let me try it and see if this is something that my audience even likes before I would consider doing like webcams and things like that. And just thought that audio broadcasts would be a perfect way to start. So very new to this, but really enjoying it so far. Yes, we were talking about that earlier too, about how hard it is to not have just like people in your day-to-day life that you can talk about BTS with. And so I'm really glad that we can have like a little community where we do that. It's been a really fun vibe. I'm so enjoying this. It's just so much fun to just have a chat about BTS, and just, have be able to share that passion and that excitement is so great. Audio only is kind of fun because it allows you to also listen while you're like doing other things, or just kind of, it has a little bit of a podcast vibe. So that's really fun. I've enjoyed that from other people that I've seen do audio only live streams. It just has like a kind of cozy podcast feel. Yeah, I watch a lot of live broadcasts on Twitch, and I've always kind of wondered how that has, how that works there and such. But I was like, yeah, my YouTube channel is my primary thing. Let me start there, and we'll see how it works. Right? Yeah, me too. I always tend to look for videos to listen to while I'm like getting ready for work, or while I'm, on my way to work, or even just, like walking around someplace. And so it's like, sometimes having just audio is really nice, because then I don't have to be focused on the screen while I'm doing other things. Oh, thank you very much. Saying I have a nice voice. To be honest, I've always been a little self-conscious about my voice. because it's in a, it's just like a slightly deeper register. I've always thought that my voice is kind of annoying. So when I started doing YouTube videos, I'm just like, ugh, my annoying voice doing these videos. So I am very flattered to hear that you think I have a nice voice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. That is very, very sweet. And like I said earlier, I'm definitely gonna, provided I do it correctly. I think I did it correctly when I set this up. This should go up on my channel as well as like a replay. So anything that you missed, either like, if you joined a little bit later, you had to leave a little bit early, you should be able to hopefully catch up on this later as well. And yeah, if a podcast is something that people were interested in, I actually, a lot of times with my scripts, I actually end up having to cut them down. I think if this live broadcast has proven anything, it's that I can talk a lot, especially when it comes to BTS. And I am just basically somebody who talks nonstop. I'm an introvert, but once I get comfortable with somebody, I will talk their ear off. And so a lot of my scripts tend to be much, much longer, and I cut them down so I can make the videos a good length. Because I usually try and keep my videos like a half an hour, sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little bit shorter. So it's like if anybody ever was interested in like a long form podcast thing, that's definitely something that I would consider doing, and have longer scripts or even combine topics, because like we were just talking earlier that I have that idea for like the Black Swan lyrical deep dive, and I've already talked like about Black Swan's music video, and I have other things planned for, like one song will yield like 3 topics for me, and so it's like I could always put everything together into like one big topic and be like, we're talking about everything related to Black Swan today, instead of breaking it up, because I have so much stuff that I could discuss. And a big hello to anybody that I didn't say hi to earlier. Thank you so much for being here. Just saw this. Hi, hello, welcome to all of my people who just arrived. I figure I'm probably gonna be here for about another 20 minutes or so. And like I said, that it'll be up on my channel afterwards. I will definitely have to keep that in mind for a podcast. I would be really excited to do that. I would just have to figure out how to do it a little bit faster than I do my videos. Another thing about me is that I tend to have a lot of projects that I work on at once. So I'm usually balancing like multiple projects and my job and sleep. And I'm not the best at balancing everything at once. So sometimes I get a little bit far behind on things, which is why you see that it takes forever for me to make videos. No worries at all. Nobody who just arrived is late, I promise. We've all just been chit-chatting. It's been I agree with whoever said earlier, it's been a really fun vibe, so I'm glad that you're here. I'll ask the question to my newer people that I asked earlier, where are you guys watching from today, or listening from in this case? It really has been exactly like that. Like I said, when I named my channel the Army Theorist Corner, I had a mental image of like everybody sharing like a little corner table at a library or a cafe or something. So that is the vibe I'm going for. From the UK. We have another person from the UK. That's awesome. I love being able to connect with people all around the world. This is so great. You are so welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I feel like you guys are the ones who are making me welcome, honestly. Also, I apologize. I don't know how much background noise you guys can hear. My microphone, when I record, tends to pick up a lot of background noise that I have to sit here and edit out in my audio editing software, but I don't know how much it's picking up today for the live broadcast. So um, let me know if that's been a problem for anybody, if there's been like too much background noise, because all of this is kind of me testing everything, testing my equipment, testing out how it all works. So please give me any feedback about how it sounded today and how everything's looked today. Obviously, I haven't been doing anything super, complex on the screen, but let me know. Everything. Oh, great. Good. I'm really glad to hear that. When I record my scripts, my microphone can be sensitive enough that I sit fairly close to a window, but it's a closed window, and I will still have to sometimes edit out airplane noise, which is not something I ever would have expected that my microphone would be able to pick up the sound of airplanes, but apparently it can. Oh, good. I'm so glad that it's been good today. So, and everything else has been really smooth for everybody. Everything else has been working. It looks like the chat's pretty good. Looks like the chat's coming through at like a good pace for everybody. So I literally like gave myself a crash course on how to use this software on like Friday night. So I was really, really worried it wouldn't work. So we have about 15 more minutes before I sign off for the day. Anything anybody else wanted to ask about the channel, or anything else you wanted to chat with me about, or any other things that you wanted to discuss? I am all ears. I'm all for it. Good. I am so glad that everything sounds good. That's such a relief to hear, and that is so good. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Gina. That's really sweet. One of my jobs, like, gosh, probably almost like 10 years ago at this rate, was I used to be a tour guide. So I have like a bit of a like a presenter voice that I use a little bit. So so I lapsed back into my tour guide days. From Germany. Oh, awesome. Thank you for joining us today. I think just our little group here is proof of how global and diverse Army is, and I think that's so cool that we're even just a pretty small group here in this live stream, and it's just people from all around the world. That is so exciting to me. You nice, keep going. Right back at all of you. In the wise words of Jimin, you nice, keep going. Thank you so much, Don't Feed the Bears. Keep up the good work. Army needs more people like you. That means so much to me. Thank you. Belgium, that's awesome. Okay, so what is my favorite color? You guys are gonna think I'm making this up when I say this, but my favorite color has legitimately always been purple. Growing up, my walls were purple and my carpet was purple because I've literally been obsessed with purple since I was a kid. So imagine my surprise when I became an army and it was like, oh, guess what? The BTS color is purple. I'm like, this is literally perfect. I was literally meant to be an army. Right? It is. Even if purple wasn't your favorite color before you were army, I feel like purple is your favorite color after you were army, but legitimately, I have always liked purple. Which is great because then I get to like my all of my stuff for my channel gets to be super purple and I love it. Oh, somebody who became army because of Dreamers during FIFA. That's awesome. So, oh my gosh, so many people who also loved purple. It's we were all born to be armies. It was destiny. Yes, Borahe to absolutely all of you. Purple is the best color. Honestly, it really is. And you obviously you guys can't see me, but I did wear a purple shirt just for this exact occasion. Like what else am I going to wear if not a purple shirt? I actually and I don't know if I can make it into a video, but I also have a personal blog and I tend to write posts about BTS a lot because of course I do. And last year for the occasion of like my BTS Army anniversary, I wrote a post about like purple as the BTS color and how it came about and what I think it represents in our community that I just think is, you know, it, like the way we've all adopted purple as armies is so cool to me. And I wrote a whole blog post about it, and I would love to make it into a video if I can. I'd have to go back and read that post and see if it's something that I could make into a script, because I think that would be fun. That actually is not a repeat question. That's a new one. Do I have a fun unpopular opinion? Oh gosh, I'm trying to think if I do have one that would kind of fit that. Let me think about that for a second. I think most of my like my more like lighthearted unpopular opinions just tend to be insert name of thing here is too underrated. Like I was talking earlier about my love for Wings, and I think Wings tends to get a little bit forgotten like overall, which is understandable because it's sandwiched in between HYYH, which is so iconic, and like I think kind of around that era, like Spring Day, you know, kind of, and You Never Walk Alone as an album obviously became so iconic and influential. So Wings kind of like falls right in between. And I'm always like, more love for Wings. So that's not necessarily an unpopular opinion, but maybe a more uncommon opinion that it's, you know, that those are usually my opinions is like, this thing needs more support or this thing is too underrated. Actually, I think probably one of my most like hot take type unpopular opinions, but still more fun, is that I actually have, and I kind of mentioned this in my video when I did the Why Analyze BTS video. I feel like some of the more recent BTS content that was like official content put out, you know, by like Hybe and Big Hit just always felt so lacking to me. So the Disney Plus documentary and the book. And that's not to say that either of them are bad. I just feel like they were definitely lacking. And I just came away from both of them thinking like that felt so incomplete. And I know ARMY could do a better job than both of these things. And yeah, and honestly, I have a couple of unpopular opinions that might make a fun video one day of if I felt comfortable sharing them about certain things. Like I said, I can talk about BTS a lot. I have a lot of very strong opinions about BTS related content and things. So if you guys ever want to hear me pop off about unpopular opinions one day, we can totally do that. I'm honestly very, very much agreeing with the chat right now. And then like some of my I wouldn't, I don't know if these are necessarily unpopular opinions, because I feel like we would probably all, or a lot of us would probably end up agreeing with this, but I feel like it's unpopular when you look at more of like casual content. I always get super upset when like certain stereotypes are like lobbed against certain members, and like we have like fun stereotypes here in the fandom, like Namjoon always breaks things, you know, like fun fandoms, or like, you know, fun fandom jokes, or like Yoongi being a cat, which I always think that's honestly a really funny joke. Not those, I love those, but like some of the stereotypes, like things like Namjoon can't sing or Jin can't dance or things like that, I don't like those because I feel like those aren't funny. I don't feel like those are super lighthearted. Sometimes they can be, but I feel like those are jokes, air quotes, that are a little bit more like hurtful to the members, and I don't love some of those. So that's probably like my unpopular opinion, is like some of those actually really bug me. I agree with you, T Style. I really think, and I don't know if any of you guys watched the like the documentary series that was made by Army Rise of Bangtan. I know that the official channel pulled it off of YouTube, but like other people have reposted it and stuff. I That to me is a prime example of Army just out of, you know, sheer passion making such a good product. That is, those videos are amazing. Yeah, I was so sad when it ended too. I think anybody, I feel like if Army was like a corporation or something, like if we all worked at the Army store and we were going through training, everybody should watch Rise of Bangtan, as like just so good. Also, I totally agree with what you're saying. Don't feed the bears. I hate when people paint Army with like this broad brush of just like, you know, like you said, saying like, oh yes, Army's, that is such a thing that bugs me all the time, and I've mentioned it in other videos, of like when people are like, oh yes, Army are just crazy. They're just crazy fangirls. And I'm actually going to be talking about that in the Dionysus video, because I think it really fits the Dionysus theme. And it's just like, Boris City Magazine has a really great video about how when, you know, like certain people are passionate about topics, especially, you know, like young women and things like that, it gets branded as like hysteria and things like that. Her video is amazing on that topic. And it's just like, first of all, Army is so diverse that you can't even say that. It's just like all young women, because we are a hugely diverse fandom. But it's just like, by just assuming that it's just people being crazy, it's just like, ugh, I hate that. Honestly, Sugar Rush, what you say about the BTS Monument series kind of being a supplement to Rise of Bangtan, I would actually believe that, because it is kind of interesting that she pulled the series, the Army who made Rise of Bangtan pulled the series down around the time that docuseries was announced. And so it's like, I don't know if they maybe said to her, hey, we are going to do an official one, we don't want a fan one. I'm not sure, but I think that the amount of research that she put into Rise of Bangtan is amazing. And what I love is that she adds so much context to what's going on, and that's a big thing. You've probably heard me talk about it in my videos. I love the context being added to like what the boys were going through at the time that they made certain videos or things, you know, or songs, and what those songs meant in like a broader context, and you know, maybe what was going on in Korea at that time. I think that's so interesting. So, unfortunately, I'm gonna start wrapping this up. I have had so much fun. I don't know who was here earlier, but I said earlier I was honestly anticipating that I was gonna like turn this on and have nobody here, and I would have gladly done this to with one or two of you. But the fact that I've had so many of you in the chat with me is so much fun. I'm so grateful you guys were here. Thank you so much for helping me test all of this. Um, like I said, if anything felt off about this, if any like audio or video quality issues kind of jumped out at you, please let me know, because I would love to correct them before my next live stream. My next live stream is going to be a celebration for the 5th anniversary of Map of the Soul 7. and that is going to be on the 21st of this month, so the 21st of February, which I believe is a Friday. Yes, so no apology necessary for those of you who came in a little bit later. That I'm just so glad that you guys were here, and I hope that you enjoy watching the replay as well. Yeah, I'm really excited to do more of this. So my schedule, because I work retail, my schedule tends to be a little bit, all over the map. I don't really have like set hours that I work. So I don't know how often I'll be able to do this, but this was a blast. I had so much fun with this. So I definitely want to do this more frequently. Definitely going to have that one scheduled for the 21st of February. Probably, if I had to guess, probably around the same time as this one. That time works really well for me, and I hope it works well for you guys. And if not, definitely I'm going to be putting the live stream replays on the channel as well, so you can see them there. Thank you so much. I'm really glad you guys have been enjoying the videos. Like I said before, my next video is going to be, hopefully my next video is going to be my Dionysus analysis. I don't know when that will be up. I'm hoping sometime probably in March, because I'm going to definitely be preparing for the Map of the Soul 7 broadcast. That one's going to be a little bit more structured, because what I want to do is I just want to go through the album with you guys and talk about the songs, talk about the music videos, talk about the themes, and we can just go through Map of the Soul and have a blast. So that's my goal for the next one. It'll be a little bit more structured, but so much fun. I love this. I love being able to chat with you guys. We'll have plenty of opportunities to just chit chat about BTS in future. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for helping me test this out. And thank you, as always, for all of your support on the videos and for the channel in general. You guys are the best. I am so lucky to have you. Yes, I'm so excited. I can't wait to do this with you guys again. Bye, everybody. I hope you have a great night, great morning, whatever the time is where you guys are. Thank you for your support. Thank you so much. I was so happy to see a lot of names that I recognize here and to meet some new friends as well. Thank you for being here. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.